All right. First of all, thank you to organizers for inviting me to this event to share with you our views on smart cities and then the more recent opportunities as a result of the 14th five-year plan. And what does it mean to the innovation and technology development here in the GBA? So the 14th five-year plan actually to us is, well, we are very excited about that. Because it's talk about economic growth through city development, which is one of the key objectives. Of course, there's other objectives like the education, like the healthcare. But today, I mainly focus on the so-called new infrastructure and the city development, which is related to the key topics of today. So in the five-year plan, the cities and city cluster will play a vital role in terms of regional integration and economic growth. When we talk about regional integration, is talking about economic integration, but when you do that, when you have that integration, it also entails a lot of maybe data flow, traffic flow, people flow. So data and the communication is actually a key to that. And if you think about the government plans to rise the population of urban residents to 65% of the population, you can imagine the increasing demand in public facilities, increasing demand in communication infrastructure, and increasing demand in city management. So a lot of opportunities for industry players to contribute to make that to make the development a smart one. And what does it mean by 65% of the population to become a permanent urban residents? Is for the next 5 years, every year you have 10 million to 11 million of people moving into the city, right? So it's more than the whole population in Hong Kong. And at the same time, they are starting to look at, apart from the people resources, they're also talking about the physical infrastructure, the 5G adoption, and then the new infrastructure plan, which amounts to around 610 billion RMB, which in the last section I will talk a little bit more about the new infrastructure. Okay. So a lot of cities are going through renewal. Apart from the physical infrastructure, is also talking about the information infrastructure, about the renewal. And that slide just give you a brief idea of what are the amount of investment that the central government is going to put in the next 5 years to get many of the old cities regenerated. Okay. So that presents opportunities not only in terms of the traditional civil engineering contractors, but also in terms of information infrastructure. Now the government, or many of the government, they're well aware that when you develop a physical infrastructure, you need to concurrently develop your information infrastructure so that they both can generate synergies. So just to summarize some of the urbanization or city opportunities under the 5-year plan, the first one is rather than quantity, now the central government is looking a lot more on quality development, right? Quality developments, high quality, coordinated, and innovation and technology enabled development. That's what they meant by high quality development. They focus on key cities to create city clusters, and then to radiate the experience and resources to support other cities to grow. And then the new infrastructure and rural revitalization, regional development, redevelopment, they are critical for expanding domestic investment and consumption, but at the same time, set up a good foundation for a smart city. Smart city not only are talking about technology, but we're also talking about climate resilience and low carbon, which China has pledged to reach the carbon top at 2015. 2030, and then carbon neutral at 2060. So it's challenging. So a lot more, not only when you build the infrastructure, you need to consider that, but actually when you operate for the next 20, 30 years, you need to have technology tools to help you efficiently manage your buildings, manage your infrastructures, reduce carbon. The last bit is the new financing model. You all heard about REIT, and the Chinese government has approved the use of REIT on public infrastructure. So want to release the potential of the public infrastructure in the short and medium term. New infrastructure plan have 7 key areas like 5G, AI, big data, But the thing is, it's actually also include physical infrastructure like the charging station, power transmission, intercity transportation, etc. But the key thing is, how do you mix them together? The physical and the information infrastructure, how do you mix them in order to improve the operations, the management of a city? So there's 3 sections that we see is under the new infrastructure. It has information infrastructure that you typically expect of, like IoT, AI, 5G. But you also have mixed infrastructure, that means the physical plus the information infrastructure together to make the city more efficient. And then not to forget that we have resources, human capital, that is also a very key infrastructure on its own.